Biden administration explaining away their policy on mask mandates, saying, quote, "We are not there yet in terms of matching state officials who are moving to lift mask mandates and ease up on other COVID-19 restrictions." But a top White House official hints that day is approaching.
All right, for the latest, we'll bring in Chief White House Correspondent James Rosen there, joining us live from the North Lawn. Good morning, James.
Sean and Emma, good morning once again to you. For President Biden, who campaigned on a promise to tame the virus, this recent trend among Democrat-run states of loosening COVID restrictions places him in something of a political bind. With the Omicron variant receding now, daily cases dropping off by 65% over the last 3 weeks, hospitalizations down 40% over that same time span. Several states have announced their intention to lift indoor mask mandates for adults, some for school children. New York, led by Democratic Governor Kathy Hochul, joined that list yesterday, as did Washington Governor Jay Inslee, also a Democrat. Public opinion polls show most Americans want to treat the coronavirus at this point like we treat the flu, as an endemic situation, not a public health emergency. Surveys also show Americans giving President Biden failing grades for his handling of the virus. While the CDC director cautioned yesterday the administration is, quote, not there yet in terms of urging the lifting of mandates, the head of the White House Coronavirus Task Force said the country is, quote, moving toward a time when COVID won't disrupt our daily lives, won't be a constant crisis.
The White House COVID response team under the president's leadership is reaching out to governors and outside public health experts and doctors and local public health officials on steps we should be taking to keep the country moving forward. We know that in different areas of the country, cases have fallen more significantly, and this will lead to different approaches and different timing, and we will continue to coordinate closely with state and local leaders.
White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki rejected a reporter's suggestion yesterday that the CDC is, quote, calling the shots and President Biden simply does whatever they instruct him to do. But if you read between the lines of what Jeff Zients was just saying, the bottom line here is, to quote Sam Cooke, a change going to come. Sean and Emma.
All right, James Rosen reporting live there. James, good to see you. Thank you.
Still waiting on that change, though, from the top down. Joining us now to discuss is Illinois Congresswoman Mary Miller. Congresswoman, welcome to National Report. Thanks for taking the time today. Your state had some news yesterday. The governor there saying Illinois will lift the mask mandate February 28th, but read the fine print. It's not for schools, hospitals, or nursing homes. Your reaction?
Well, their hypocrisy knows no shame, and they are losing in the polls. That's why they're backing off on this mandate. But the fact that they won't lift them for school children is, I just can't believe it. They've bungled this, the way they've handled this virus from the beginning. The blue states are ridiculous. I mean, I know someone that joined the exodus of citizens out of Illinois to Tennessee last year. The 7- and 4-year-old were being required to wear masks to play soccer outdoors. As soon as they arrived in Tennessee, the masks were off. And the people in Illinois have had it with our hypocrite governor. He's been seen multiple times violating his own edicts.
What do you make of the students who are walking out in the Chicago area public schools?
I applaud them. It's about time. I think what we're going to leave our children and grandchildren depends on what we're doing now. God created us to be free and relational people, and we communicate through our faces. I was reminded years ago, my children and I memorized a verse in Proverbs that says, "A glad heart makes a cheerful face." And one way when I was raising my children, I had a feel about how they were doing was from their countenance that you measure from looking at their face. And I think it's pathetic that our kids have been masked, that they're going on 3 years of lockdowns and ridiculous edicts.
Well, throughout the course of those years, we've reported on politicians not following their own mask mandates, numerous examples of that. But now again, that tide is shifting, it appears to, these blue states lifting their mask mandates. And a lot of people are wondering the timing of it all. Of course, you hear from governors, they say the case count is lower, fewer hospitalizations. But here was an answer on CNN just the other day. Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee Chair, Congressman Sean Patrick Maloney, spoke on this reversal. Take a listen.
Congressman, are you concerned about how the double standard on masks may come off, where they're required in schools for kids, but not for adults in the same states, that will hurt Democrats?
No, I personally believe we are very close, if not already at a place, particularly in states like New York, where you don't need a mandate in schools or anywhere else.
How do you think this is going to play into the elections?
They're on the wrong side of the issue, not only on this, but even on the transgender issue. I've been going at it with the education secretary. He sent out guidelines to all the schools saying if a student or a teacher says that there's two genders, that they're guilty of harassment. I don't know. I recently proposed 2 bills, Make Our Schools Great Again, and it's what we want is to prohibit federal funding from going to schools that are continuing to put mask and vaccine mandates on the students, or they refuse to open for in-person learning full-time.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. We'll keep watching. Again, wait and see if any other states follow suit. I got to get your opinion on the news that came out this morning. The consumer price is jumping to 7.5%. It's a 40-year record high. What do you make of that number, and what needs to be done to get this under control?
Well, for one thing, the American citizens didn't need that to come out in order to know. We know when we go to the store, when we go to buy a car, that inflation is raging. Just the outrageous spending that the Biden administration has been doing, and you know, some of us have been trying to put the brakes on. That money is still in the pipes. I think that we're going to see things get way worse. And I just have to say, elections have consequences. We're going to take the House in 2022. But we need fighters in the House. We don't need people that are going to acquiesce to the same kind of policies that put Americans last. We have whiplash going from America first to America last this past year.
Again, 7.5%, 40-year high inflation. Congresswoman Mary Miller of Illinois, thank you so much, Congresswoman. We appreciate the time.
Thank you.
You're welcome.